Welcome to Green Dragon Studio and to training on a series of individual exercises that are among the most time-honored and significant in the Chinese martial arts, particularly for use at the beginner's level to start the process of building the kind of exceptional physical power and strength for which hard-working Kung Fu practitioners have always been noted. The following 9 exercises have been especially selected from 3 different Chinese styles because in combination they produce outstanding results out of all proportion to their apparent simplicity. They are both internal and external in their effect. They promote remarkable upper body strength, particularly in the hands, wrists, forearms, arms, and shoulders. They contain movements that are especially designed to develop power along the routes most used for fighting. They aid in developing proper breathing technique, and they create a hardness of the musculature without changing the appearance of the body, often within just 2 to 3 weeks of very hard work. Additionally, these 9 form an excellent companion structure to the animal forms and provide a firm foundation to moving up to the harder isotonic strength forms, such as the beginner's No-Lick Ken or the more advanced Teep Bahan Chin Chuan or Gunji Ken. We will first look at the snake turns over, common to many of the southern styles in China, taught to Green Dragon or brought to Green Dragon from Choi Lei Put. Again, while simple in design, the snake turns over exercise has some of the most profound strengthening effects of any exercise taught at the beginner's level. And even though taught in the foundational phases of training, it's an exercise which is usually continued long after the student has become advanced and has been training for any number of years. More than just an exercise, the snake turns over is a program. The program consists of starting with 10 repetitions on each arm and adding 1 repetition per day for 90 days until 100 repetitions on each arm has been reached. And that is done then for 10 days in a row. And you have a 100-day program, so common to the Chinese arts. The strengthening effect of the snake turns over exercise during that period of time is such that at 30 repetitions, we expect at Green Dragon that beginners, whatever their physical size and strength when they begin, would be able to break 1 block in an open-handed strike. At the 60-day mark, 2 blocks, and at the 100-day mark, a minimum of 3 blocks, 2-inch blocks without separators. It is not uncommon for average-sized men to go on to do 200 to 300 repetitions in the snake turns over exercise and break 5 or 6 2-inch concrete blocks without separators at the end of the program. You can see as the exercise is done here that it involves primarily pulling, pushing, twisting, and turning. The twisting and turning being pronation and supination of the forearm. And of course, all of those are moves very common to all aspects of fighting. We usually teach it in 7 parts. Curling the arm up would be 1, bending the wrist down, and then turning it on 2 and 3, opening the hand, the push out with the palm strike, the full circle on the end, and then returning to the hip rest position. The exercise is done with as much isotonic effect as can possibly be generated by the individual performer, which means as much pressure, as much tension as you can possibly put on it, yet consistent with being able to move. When you get to the end of the 100 repetition basic program, it will take about 35 minutes in a basic horse stance at the proper speed to finish 100 repetitions on each arm. Once again, you have the curl. The bend is 2. Twist around is 3. Open that hand with a lot of tension for 4. Push to the center line for 5. Have the 360-degree circle to the squeeze of the fist is 6, and the withdrawal to the hip rest position is 7, and that is the 7 parts that we use in teaching the exercise. Like many Chinese programs, few people do the 100 rep program. It's simply too difficult. Anyone who completes the program and finishes the 100 repetitions, doing the final 100 repetitions on each arm for 10 days in a row, then can cycle back and do only 30 repetitions per workout, which will be sufficient to maintain whatever strength was built up when doing the 100 repetition program. Snake turns over. We'll move now to an exercise called Tiger Claws Turn In, a very special exercise taken directly from the Iron Vest program, common to some aspects of Five Family style. The Iron Vest being very scarce in this part of the world, the authentic one, and of course requiring herbs for assistance on that program. Tiger Claws Turn In, demonstrated here by Sifu Allen, is a combined internal-external exercise. Like Snake Turns Over, it is designed to harden and strengthen all part of the arm from the fingertips through the shoulders. In this case, it does something that the Snake Turns Over does not do. It strengthens the outside edges and the inside edges of the forearms as well. While there is no definitive pattern of breathing to Snake Turns Over, you do have one stipulation with Tiger Claws Turn In, and that is that you be exhaling on the downward thrust. So you bring the hands together, flip them open hard, curl them down slow, the fingers into a leopard fist, turn them to the outside, turn them to the inside while dragging each knuckle across the other as they go into the chest. Looking at this again in profile. Start in the crane hand position. Open the hands. Curl the fingers down. Turn them to the outside. When they go to the inside, the knuckles rake against each other. Take them all the way to the chest and back out. And here again, except for the movements that are performed very quickly, like the opening of the hands, for example, or the very last movement going back to the crane hands at arm's length out to the sides, other than those two movements, maximum tension is maintained on every aspect of the fingers, hands, wrists, forearms, arms, and shoulders. And as much pressure as you can possibly generate determines in large measure how hard the musculature gets, how resistant to injury you become as a result, and how much strength and power you build up. Come in on part one, flip the hands on two, curl the fingers into leopard fists on three very slowly, a lot of tension. Then rotate to the outside, to the inside as you bring the arms back to the chest. Don't drop the tension. Tension stays on throughout. Turn the hands back to back, fingertips pointed at the chest, down in the inverted pyramid or triangle, and up and out to the sides in the crane hand. And if you were counting, you'll find we have 7 major parts to this one, and would teach beginners this exercise broken down in that manner. In the Iron Vest program, you would do 36 repetitions of this one, along with the other 24 exercises in that program. So 36 would be a nice number to key on for individual training, even if you don't have the entire program. We do it as an auxiliary arm strengthening device. We look now at a very common exercise to both northern and southern styles, that of the double palm exercises, done in 4 sets, double palm down, up, and then split palms both directions. The importance of the palm exercise cannot be emphasized highly enough. It is both internal and external. The external strengthening effect comes principally on the back of the forearms. They will become as hard as concrete, doing a lot of palm work as long as the tension is maintained. And of course, the internal effect comes from proper breathing. Every time you are bringing it back to the starting position, it is an inhale. Anytime you are pushing it away, as right here, overhead, it is an exhale. The breathing, of course, is diaphragmatic, diaphragm moving up and down as opposed to the thoracic cavity or chest cavity moving in and out. The palm exercise is done 10 repetitions in all 4 directions. Double palm down first, double palm up second, and then split palms, as he is starting to do here, in both directions, right up and left down, and then left up and right down. In the split palms, the palms are kept on the center line, both of them, one directly under the other. This exercise in the Chinese arts is so highly prized and so highly thought of, it is one of the primary, if not the primary, preliminary exercise done prior to striking the bag in iron palm training. It is done in both basic iron palm training as well as advanced palm training. Pay close attention to the breathing, and while you do employ tension, especially on the forearms by keeping the hands at 90 degrees when pushed to their extremity, make sure that you time the movement to the breathing. Make the inhales and exhales as long and drawn out as you can. Number 4 now is draw the bow and shoot the tiger from the extremely rare stone warrior program. This consists of 3 major movements, and we begin now to work the entire body and both arms in conjunction instead of just the arms alone. We have a double punch down to the side, almost to the floor. You can touch the floor if you wish. Withdraw the back arm, which is drawing the bow. Turn and extend the opposite arm, which is, of course, releasing the arrow and shooting the tiger. Once again, as with almost all of these, there is a strong element of tension employed. Pitting one major muscle group against the other under as much tension as you can generate, consistent with allowing you to execute the movements. You inhale before the double punch down. You exhale on that double punch. You inhale on the draw and exhale on the stance change with the vertical fist. Exhaling here, inhaling here, exhaling here. Keep the tension on. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and as always, employ belly breathing or diaphragmatic breathing or hypogastric breathing, call it whatever you want. And the twisting on the waist will result in good circulation being brought to that area, adding to the health benefit as well as power augmentation through running the chi, as well as the strengthening aspect of the isotonic part of the exercise, the maintaining of the tension. Very good whole body exercise. Likewise works well, of course, as you can plainly see, as a technique for fighting. Look at it once from the rear. You double punch down, draw the bow, shoot the tiger. In some circles, the last move is frequently known as tiger punches through the door. But as with everything else in the complexity of the Chinese arts, where you have somewhere between 300 and 400 systems coming out of China, Naturally, the terminology is different in almost every school and regarding almost every different kind of move, depending on what style, depending on your instructor, depending on his experience. As we go to exercise number 5, which is a breathing exercise from the Iron Buddha style, we might also add that there are no restrictions on any of these. You can do them at any time of the day. You can do them in any combination, in any order, and any one of them stands alone by itself. It's just that if you do them all, the combined effect is frequently incredible. Here again, it's hypogastric breathing that's employed with this Iron Buddha breathing exercise. The tension in this case is a little more mild or a little less than what has been employed on the other 4 exercises up to now. Start and move through the praying hands position. Stretch up and out, open to a big circle. Take the arms back, out, down, and around, up to a palms back toward the face. Small cross, out, over, and down the center line in the double palm. You will be inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. So we have basically 4 parts in there, even though the continuity and the flow of the exercise is not broken. Taking you through the routes piecemeal here. Most combined internal exercise forms or exercises are better than strictly internal exercises, despite what some people would have you believe. This is particularly true for beginning students because much faster progress is made with combined internal-external forms than with strictly internal forms alone, which take much longer, sometimes years, to manifest the kind of results that are claimed for them. If you're going to be a dedicated practitioner and you have that much time, then the health benefits, particularly that come with the consistent practice of internal forms, are tremendous. But if you're looking for strength in the beginning to help you better able to utilize what you have learned in the way of self-defense technique, then strictly external forms, or better yet, combined internal-external forms, will see you achieve greater results earlier in your training. Exercise number 6 now, the 1-count crane. We continue the development here of the back part or bridge part of the forearm, as well as the bottom of the forearms, both of which, after several weeks of doing these 9, will become extremely hard. You won't be able to pinch the skin on the back or the bottom of your forearms. And here the key is the wrist snap at 2 locations, out at the end and behind the ears. This will bring chi to the palms in advanced students who have any of the major strengthening programs, such as Iron Vest or Stone Warrior or Iron Palm. You start in the crane hand, and behind the ears, the crane hand is snapped open very hard, viciously into a palm. You can do this as fast as you want. The speed at which it was demonstrated initially is sufficient. But you want to make sure that no matter how fast you do the exercise, that when you do 50 to 75 of these, you concentrate on the snap of the wrist. Snapping back up into the crane hand produces the effect on the bottom of the forearm. The snap into the palm at 90 degrees produces the effect on the bridge part of the forearm. Very simple exercise with many, many strengthening results for the hands, wrists, and forearms in particular. Not only that, good training for standing palm strikes. Another modification now of an iron vest exercise, this being the 6-count crane, done a little differently than it's done in iron vest. In iron vest, it is not done with tension, and both hands are utilized palm up. It was taken out of that highly advanced herbally assisted medicinal program for use as a strengthening device along the set-up equal and opposite punching route, commonly taught, of course, to all beginners in all of the martial arts that have striking. Again, it's to strengthen the overall arm, again, to emphasize pushing and pulling while so doing. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, hence the count for 6-count crane. And of course you emphasize the turning of the hands at exactly the same time for equal and opposite. You can use it in the manner as it's being used here at a faster pace without dropping all of the tension. So you have a good drill format for rhythm in developing your equal and opposite concept for punching. Going to exercise number 8 now, which is a very special exercise. Normally would not be included on a beginner's level tape, which this videotape happens to be. This is a special chi tricking exercise known only to the Iron Buddha people, and hence it's related to the Titlohan Chin Chuan. This exercise will condition you both physically and mentally for hitting and being hit because of the body contact which is made on your own person. Qi coming into the body, drawn in through the breath in the Chinese concept, at least one of them, of course tends to go immediately and reside in the area of the Dantian, 3 of your own finger width below your own navel, as measured by yourself. It's an area about the size of a quarter. And one of the jobs of the Chinese martial artist, of course, is to make sure that the qi within the body is, first of all, balanced, and second of all, that it can be run along the 2 primary circular routes, one vertical and one horizontal, so that it can be used, hopefully at some later date in the training, at will, throughout the body, for the purposes of healing, both yourself and others, or, of course, doing damage in your own self-defense. It was found early on in various Chinese styles that hard slapping of the body in various places and making circular configurations in front of the body, which you've already seen in several of the other exercises that we've demonstrated for you on this tape, has a tendency to move the qi out of the place where it's normally deposited and get it out into the body for use, and that is precisely what the purpose of this exercise is. Hits on that exercise are chest, solar plexus, waist, and groin. In the groin, being careful to hit in the crease where the legs make contact with the torso. We look lastly now for exercise number 9 at a fingers to palm, so-called breathing exercise, more internal in this case than external. And we have shown it last for a reason. The results coming mainly through proper breathing as well as the twisting. We'll find that the body becomes rejuvenated. It oxygenates the system. If you do it first, you can oxygenate the system before training. If you do it last for recuperation or relaxation, it has the internal massage effect that goes with the twisting. It's one of those Chinese exercises so easy in design, but so profound in its results. On the opening, of course, is the inhalation, and on the closing and twisting is the exhalation, and you make that inhalation and exhalation as long and as drawn out and as even as you possibly can. And of course, once again, we must emphasize that you have to utilize diaphragmatic breathing, or these things simply do not work. In the case where you want an internal effect, the breathing is almost everything. Exhaling here and inhaling here throughout the entire movement. There is a look at 9 extremely important basic power development, hardening, and health-enhancing exercises, which we use here at Green Dragon. We teach all of our beginners these in the incipient stages of their training. And with things particularly like snake turns over, tiger claws turn in, the palm exercise, and the Iron Buddha exercises, we have seen phenomenal gains made in better health and greater strength, both of which, of course, carry over to the implementation of fighting skills. There have been many, many requests for a series of tapes on basic exercises, starting with those designed principally for beginners and running through the highly advanced programs, and Green Dragon will be producing those and making them available in the months to come. In the meantime, if you have any interest in that area, write to us, indicate what your interests are, and we'll see if we can fulfill whatever requests you may have. In the meantime, the best wishes from the entire staff here at Green Dragon Studio for all aspects of your Chinese martial arts experience.